Is my screen visible? Come on.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so let's get started. In last session, we discussed the life cycle of the software development, right? How
Right.
it is, what it is exactly. Then we discussed what is DevOps, the basics, obviously. Then who should learn DevOps? We did cover this, right? Or we didn't?
Yeah, we did.
We did cover this, right? Again, just as a revision, we can have a conversation maybe between you and me. And I think someone has joined. I'm not sure if Arbaz or someone. Fine. So, who should learn DevOps? Everyone should learn DevOps in the software development team, right? Why? Developers, they should learn to improve their deployment process. Testers, obviously, to enhance their testing efficiency. And integration product owners to understand the development and operation workflows. कि क्या चल रहा है, कहाँ तक चल रहा है, right? If they don't understand the DevOps, uh, um, it is implied, it is said that they don't have to learn all of them. They don't have to learn in similar manner. As in we in operation, someone in development, we both have to learn DevOps, but जो भी हम लोगों के लिए suitable है, that part, right? You are not going to learn the coding, and coder is not going to learn and see how a server is being deployed. That is not going to happen. Your work will be your work, his work or her work will be their work. But we have to learn because as we discussed in our first session, DevOps, it's a method, right? It's a methodology. It's culture. We are
Correct.
not learning any technology here. So all the teams, they should know about each other. That is the reason all of these stakeholders, they should learn. Scrum Master. Yes, I think this is where we're stuck in last session. Scrum Masters should learn this so they can facilitate the team collaboration and process the improvement. Now, by this statement itself, we should understand who's a Scrum Master and what exactly he does. Scrum Master, normally we see in Agile method, where we are developing a software, where we are creating an application, and you will see in other projects as well, right? Right. So it's a Scrum Master is someone who leads the project. That in these 15 days, Scrum Master creates a plan. Normally, they call it as a sprint, and sprint is of a 15 days. Uh, so a Scrum Master is someone who leads that sprint. In the sprint, we are going to see all these in detail, right? So in a sprint, we can have stories, we can have bugs, we can have epics. What all are these things? We are going to see. But a scrum master is someone who leads all these things, not in a technical manner. You cannot go with a to a scrum master and say, I'm stuck with this code, I'm unable to code here, I'm not able to understand the logic, can you help me? No, that is not what the scrum master is doing. Or as an operation guy, you cannot go and say how to spin one container, one Docker or server, or how to create a middleware or a runware. No, the Scrum Master is not for that. They are not going to help in this case. In fact, it's not their capability. It's not their it's not their expertise, right? So a Scrum Master, it's never going to do that. A Scrum Master will always lead your project in terms of business, right? So that is what a Scrum Master is. So in this case, Scrum Master should learn DevOps. Why? Because unless he or she knows the terms and etc., they will not be able to give the report. They will not be able to lead the project. Operations team, essential for all members essential for all members responsible for development and management and monitoring. यहाँ पर हम लोग भी आ गए, development team भी आ गए. Operation team आते ही we both are we both fall here. Operation teams में आपके developer, आपके tester, and we as an infrastructure administrator or engineers, we will be a part of operations team. Why we have to learn DevOps? Obviously we have to learn because उस पे काम तो ultimately हम लोग ही करने वाले हैं, right? Scrum Master, Product Owner, ये सब तो उसमें अपना business requirement ढूंढ रहे, business need ढूंढ रहे, but technical work we are going to do. So we will have to learn in detail, in thoroughly. Freelancers, it's the same thing. For one project, maybe I have a team of 5 developers, uh, 5 platform engineers, 2 testers, etc etc. उस सब के बाद भी यहाँ पर छोटा सा कोई रिक्वायरमेंट है किसी ऐसी लैंग्वेज का where I do not have the expertise and I'll have to hire someone for one project. And I see कि इसका यार बहुत ही छोटा 4 लाइन का कोड लिखना है मुझको. मेरे पास सारे डॉटनेट के डेवलपर है, जावा का एक 4 लाइन का कोड लिखना है. I won't hire someone. I may outsource this to someone. Maybe some freelancer can come and work on that project only for that particular 4-liner code. If you are working as a freelancer, you should understand the DevOps process, right? Management team to provide the insights of development, कितना progress चल रहा है, कैसे चल रहा है, efficiency proper हो रही है नहीं हो रही है, graphs, reports, etc. Hence management team should understand. Client, obviously client should understand, but unless client understands the thing, unless client knows how the DevOps work, you will not be able to explain anything. And looking at the diagram, looking at the boards, which we are going to learn in upcoming sessions, your client will not be able to understand anything. So client should learn DevOps, right? And anyone related to development, they should learn DevOps. It is beneficial. Now, what are the benefits of DevOps? More agility. I'm not going to read and explain this. This is very self-explanatory. You guys can go ahead and read this one. I'll be sharing this one with you, this PDF. This is a presentation. Actually, I have converted that to PDF so I can share it with you. You can read this. This is very basic. So let's skip this. Basic benefits they have given. What is Azure DevOps? Now we're getting into technical things of Azure DevOps. Initially we discussed Azure DevOps, it's a method, etc., right? But what exactly it does, what all it has, what do we have to learn? हमारा role कहाँ पर आता है actual में, right? So Azure DevOps is a set of modern services which are used to plan in a smarter way. What can we plan? A development of an application, right? A journey of an application. So to plan smarter, to collaborate in a better manner, to ship faster. Ship faster का यहाँ क्या मतलब हुआ कि यार मुझको सॉफ्टवेयर जल्दी से बनाना है. इन लास्ट सेशन आई गेव यू एन एग्जांपल कि कोविड का 2 साल का सेशन चल रहा था, उसमें काफी लोगों ने नए नए एप्स बना लिए, एजुकेशन प्लेटफॉर्म एटसेट्रा, राइट? टू लर्न एवरीथिंग ऑनलाइन, टू डू वर्क ऑनलाइन, ऑनलाइन ये सबमिट करने के लिए, ऑनलाइन वो करने के लिए, क्लासरूम्स एटसेट्रा. इमेजिन के उस डेवलपमेंट को बनने में अगर 2 साल लगता, सो इफ समवन हु स्टार्टेड आफ्टर 6 months ऑफ कोविड, 6 महीने के बाद तो समझ में आया कि दिस इज गोइंग टू बी अ लॉन्ग थिंग. 2 साल की चीज है, अगर उसको बनाने में ही 2 साल लग जाते हैं, सो बाय द टाइम द प्रोडक्ट इज रेडी, that will be of no use. तब तक लोग ऑफलाइन आ चुके थे वापस, राइट? सो शिप फास्टर एज इन डिप्लॉयमेंट ऑफ द एप्लीकेशन क्विकर के मेरे पास आइडिया तो आ गया, मैंने डेवलपमेंट टीम हायर कर ली, दे शुड बी एबल टू शिप माय एप्लीकेशन faster. That is what your shift faster is. Azure DevOps provides all these features and you can use all of them and choose as per your need. So it's not required कि आप सबके सब यूज कर लो, right? You can choose whatever services you want. आपके पास कुछ ऑन प्रीम पे पड़ा है, you can integrate as well. ऐसा नहीं कि DevOps पे आपको स्क्रैच से ही करना है, right? That is one thing. Azure DevOps, by the way, it is developed and managed by Microsoft. It is implied, I'm sure, for you guys because you have been working on Azure, so you know Azure is Microsoft's product. But someone who doesn't know cloud at all, for that person, Azure DevOps, it's a product of Microsoft. It is and just to give granular definition, it is one of the services in Azure. Azure, it has a larger picture. In cloud, we have many services, and Azure DevOps, it's one of the services. Under Azure DevOps, whatever we have, we are going to see that. Azure DevOps is nothing new. Formally, we had Azure DevOps. I'm not sure if you guys have worked or not. I've worked on this once. Right? So this is a Visual Studio Team Services, VSTS. एक ये आता था जिसको आप Azure DevOps convert कर दिया. Now you can call it as an Azure DevOps. When did they do that? They renamed it in September 2018. I have never heard this question. कभी नहीं आने वाला इंटरव्यू में. Don't worry. But just I wanted to let you know, इसलिए बता दिया. पता हो तो it's well and good. Knowledge कभी waste नहीं होगा, right? But interview perspective से कभी नहीं सुना है मैंने ये question. So whatever services we had within the VSTS, now those services are in Azure DevOps. ठीक है? जो build and release होता था, now it is Azure Pipeline. Code जो वहां पर होता था, now it is Azure Repos. We had to use we had an option called work. Now it is Azure Boards. Test, Azure Test Plan. Packages, Azure Artifacts. So all these things we have here. इसी वाले section को मैंने skip करके I just read it here. So we covered both of these. That earlier we had this service, now we have this service. So how many services we have in Azure DevOps, guys? We have boards, Azure boards, which we are going to look in a thorough manner. But as an operation guy, you don't have to worry about it much. You should know it. It's good to know knowledge आपके लिए, because you'll be working with your developers team. right? Side to side. Nowadays, whatever you guys are working, it's a built application, already built in production image application. उस पे काम करता हूँ mostly आप, right? But here you're getting into designing phase, you're getting into uh, implementation phase कि अब तक बना नहीं है. So you'll be working with developers. So you should understand all these things कि boards पे इन सब का क्या मतलब होता है. So we are going to learn Azure boards, though it's not technical. It is not. It has nothing technical. ठीक है. Then we have repos. Repos is something where we save our code. Again, इसमें भी जो है maximum काम developer का ही होता है. Code को save करना, commit करना. We are going to see this also. But as an operation guy, you don't have to worry about it. लेकिन आप ये भी नहीं बोल सकते कि नहीं मैं क्यों learn करूँ then? Because see, DevOps, by the way, it's not only Azure DevOps, okay? It's not only Azure DevOps. It's we have other DevOps also. We have open source DevOps. We have GCP ka DevOps, but we are learning Azure DevOps, right? So there are things, there are multiple options, there are few more competitors as well, but we are learning Azure DevOps. Okay, so what we have boards, we have repos. Boards I discussed, I told you why are we using, though we are going to do a detailed session on boards. Repos to save code, I was saying it's mostly used by your developers, but you cannot say uh, that I don't know repos at all, I'm not a developer. You cannot say that. Why? Because for small changes, when you are working as a DevOps engineer or as a DevOps architect, as an architect, they cannot expect you कि आप एक छोटा सा लाइन का कोड लिखने के लिए भी वेट करोगे डेवलपमेंट टीम के आने के लिए, किसी डेवलपर के आने के लिए. They will expect from you कि आप छोटा सा एक पाइथन का 2-4 लाइन का कोड लिख पाओ. You do that and you complete your design. You don't have to wait for a developer. As an engineer or as an administrator, when you're working with them, let's say small change is required. So you don't have to wait कि कोई डेवलपर आके करेगा. Right? You're sure about it, you're certain about it, approvals वगैरह मिल गया, ये चेंज होना है, then you will not wait. You should understand कि रेपो में जाकर कोड कैसे चेंज करना है, उसको कमिट कैसे करना है, राइट, उसको पुश कैसे करना है, और हाउ टू सेंड इट फॉर टेस्टिंग. ये सब आपको आना चाहिए when you call yourself as a DevOps engineer. Hence you will have to learn repos. Otherwise repos जो है maximum developer का ही काम है, वहां पर developer ही काम करने वाला है. Is this clear guys till here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we have pipelines. This is the core, you'd say, this is the core playground where we work. इसको बहुत अच्छे से समझने की जरूरत है. We'll have to learn from scratch how to create a pipeline, how to delete a pipeline, how to work in pipeline, etc., etc. बहुत सारी चीजें. Pipeline is something where we work, right? Test plans, again, testers, artifacts, I will explain it to you. उसमें भी आपका ज्यादा काम है नहीं. Major work we have in pipeline. So this is the pipeline, guys. Is this visible or do you want to enhance it, zoom in?
It's visible for me.
Okay, so this is the pipeline, Azure build pipeline, right? We have CI/CD. What is the full form? I told you last time. Anyone remember CI/CD pipeline?
Continuous integration, continuous
Hmm?
delivery. Sorry, deployment.
Continuous integration and continuous
Deployment.
Okay.
Or delivery.
Which
I
one
think
is
we
it?
don't deal with delivery, I guess, right? You told us last time.
Okay, let's go ahead and check that. Right, not now. You guys can go ahead and check. If not, if you can't remember, I'll let you know before the session ends. Okay, so here it is. We have. Meanwhile, let me show you. I think वैसे भी आंसर मिल जाएगा यहाँ पर आप लोगों को. So we have CI/CD. One is your under Azure pipeline continue integration, and this is continued delivery, right? So look at this. As of now, I'm just explaining you the image. We are not going into depth. कैसे बनाना है, इस बार आज नहीं शुरू कर रहे हैं हम लोग. We are going to go ahead with this order only. First, we are going to learn boards, then we are going to learn repos, then we are going to learn pipeline, test plans, and artifacts. Right? So अभी हम काफी time board पे spend करने वाले हैं in upcoming sessions. So don't worry. But just to let you know what is a pipeline, you must have heard pipeline. Pipeline होता क्या है भाई pipeline? Right? So pipeline is something here under Azure boards. When we learn Azure boards, you will understand. Actual काम जो है ना, जो meetings के बाद और ticketing के बाद, everything वो सब होने के बाद जब काम आता है, so how to start work, where will it get assigned to you? सबसे मेन क्वेश्चन यही होता है, even if you know technical and if you do not have experience, यहीं पे लैग करते हैं लोग कि यार मुझको पता ही नहीं काम आएगा कैसे, असाइन कैसे होगा, क्या होगा, राइट? सो एवरीथिंग दैट कम्स इन Azure boards. Azure बोर्ड में हर एक को अपना अपना टास्क असाइन होता है, बीट डेवलपर, बीट ऑपरेशन गाय, बीट टेस्टर, जो भी हो आपको अपना काम असाइन होगा. फॉर एग्जांपल क्रिएट अ न्यू सर्वर, लिनक्स लिनक्स 8, उबुंटू 2022, विंडोज 2019, ये टास्क आपको असाइन वहां पर हो जाएगा. इंस्टॉल दिस डू दैट, ये सब कुछ जो है वो आपको असाइन होगा. एवरीथिंग स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम Azure बोर्ड. इज दिस क्लियर?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here it's shown only developer, but as I told you, when you're working as a DevOps engineer, so you consider yourself as a DevOps engineer. There's no developer, there is no operation guy. DevOps engineer, तो यहाँ पर आप भी हो सकते हो, developer भी हो सकता है. Most of the time it is developer. Then it goes, once it is applied, once the job has been applied to you, once the task has been applied to you, because it is showing developer here, hence it is showing Visual Studio, because developer mostly उसी में काम करेंगे. We will work somewhere else. Developers will work here in Visual Studio, or we can also work in Visual Studio. When you use Terraform as a code, when you use, see, it's not necessary that you're going to build a machine all the time using Portal. You guys will also use some code, right? Could be Terraform, could be ARM template. So the moment you say that, you are also a developer. आप उसी वाले इसमें आ गए, आप खुद से ना लिखो, but you are using a script, and you will have to use VSTS. So you will have to use this Visual Studio, right? So this applies to you also. The work will be assigned here. Then you will be you'll join as a developer or as an operation. You're working on code. Whenever the code is done, whatever you want to change, for example, you're working on a script which was 2016 in Visual Studio, you change that, you change the machine name, you change the uh, machine size, etc. in the script. That all where will you do? You will do that in Visual Studio. I will be showing it to you, don't worry. As of now, we're just looking at the overview, guys. 2 दिन की ट्रेनिंग नहीं है, खत्म नहीं होने वाली इतने जल्दी, राइट? इट इज गोइंग टू टेक टाइम, एंड यू नो दिस इज हाउ आई टीच. थोड़ा सा हम पहले बेस बनाते हैं, क्लियर करते हैं, देन ओनली यू विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड. अदरवाइज क्रैश कोर्सेज यूट्यूब पे बहुत पड़े, राइट? सो वी आर नॉट गोइंग इन दैट मैनर कि इमीडिएटली आके आपको मैं सब 4 क्लिक के साथ बता दूं हाउ टू क्रिएट अ पाइपलाइन, बट यू वोंट अंडरस्टैंड उसके पीछे रैशनल क्या है, हाउ डज इट वर्क, व्हाई डू यू वोंट अंडरस्टैंड. इफ यू डोंट अंडरस्टैंड, इंटरेस्ट नहीं आएगा उसमें, यू वोंट बी एबल टू एक्सप्लेन इट. You can explain things simply only if you know it well. Okay, so developers and you guys, you will be working. Let's say it's a PowerShell script, basic one. I'm sure you guys have worked with me in our Azure training. I had given you a PowerShell script to create a machine. Do you guys remember that, Kumail, Sohan?
Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah. And I asked you to make some changes कि वो my resource group को निकालना है, आपको अपना नाम लगाना है वहां पर, आपके मशीन का नाम लगाना है, आपका resource group का नाम लगाना. Do you remember that?
Correct. Yeah.
Yes, that exactly. That's the thing. I mean, इतना simple नहीं, but उसी तरह के changes you will do in your Visual Studio. Visual Studio is a tool. It's a Microsoft tool जिसके अंदर जाकर आप जो है codes को change कर सकते हो. Is this clear till here? So you have to go there
Yes.
and you have to do that. Once it is done, here it is, Visual Studio Code. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can see.
Okay. So once that is done, once the Visual Studio is open and you have changed your code, you have done whatever you wanted to do. Once that is done, then you will go to Azure repos. I told you we are going to learn Azure repos. It's not only you who will be using Azure repos. It's not only developer who will be using Azure repos. You will also use it. So you'll be using Azure repos. In Azure repos, you will push the commands or you commit the changes. Now, what is it exactly? वो सब मैं बाद में explain करूंगा. Don't worry. Once you do that, then a build gets triggered, as in you don't literally have to go ahead on the portal and do something, right? ये सब यहीं से होता है, इसी का नाम है automation. You make some changes here, वो अपने आप यहाँ पर चला जाएगा, आप यहाँ पर commit करो, वो यहाँ पर अपने आप चला जाएगा, then uh, it will start building a job. Now what is a building a job? It could be anything. अब यहाँ पे आप सर्वर बनाना भी हो सकता है, और get the code from here, install a tool, build a solution, ये सब भी हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है, किसी भी तरह का कुछ भी हो सकता है. This is very simple pipeline example I'm giving you. हम इसको in depth में बाद में देखेंगे when we actually start learning the topic as pipeline. Azure pipeline जब देखेंगे, that time we'll see in detail, right? Once it is done, this is what your pipeline is, guys. बस इतना ही है pipeline में. ठीक है कि यहाँ से आप कोई चेंज करोगे, वो चेंज यहाँ पर जाना चाहिए, अपने आप ट्रिगर होना चाहिए. अब इसमें आर्टिफैक्ट्स वगैरह की हम लोगों को जरूरत नहीं है एज एन ऑपरेशन का, बट वी आर गोइंग टू लर्न आर्टिफैक्ट्स एज वेल, कि आर्टिफैक्ट्स के साथ कैसे काम करता है. वी आर गोइंग टू लर्न दैट एज वेल. इज दिस क्लियर टू एवरीवन टिल हियर? Yes, Kumail, so on. Guys, are you able to hear me? Kumail, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry,
great.
I'm having trouble with my mute because I'm connected by my
No,
phone
no problem.
and the mic up.
No problem. Okay, so let's talk about the very first thing, create an Azure DevOps account or create an account on Azure DevOps. How to do that, right? So to create an account, it can be done using this URL, dev.azure.com. And you can go here and you can use on a browser and you can use your email address, etc. And then you can create your account. If you already have an account on Azure, see, the moment you click on that one, this is how it looks. If you want to start for free. If you have an account, you sign in. And I told you, if you already have an Azure account, which means your Azure DevOps will be there for sure. So you have to configure, right? Look at this. Now it took me to Azure portal, and now I'm going to Azure DevOps organization. But if I did not have, I will start free or same process follow karoge. That I'm not going to show here because you guys are not freshers. We have done this already in Azure, right? So you click on start and you will start working on this. Okay, once that is done, then uh, once you have created that, you can explore the services. Which services are we talking about? These are the services, the one which I have listed here in the first one. These are the services which we are talking about: boards, repos, pipeline, etc. Right? Same thing you can check here. When you go to, let me open this. Look at this: Azure boards, Azure pipeline, Azure repos, Azure artifacts, Azure test plan. Right? And this is something new, even I have not seen. So we'll see that later. Fine. These are the services which you are going to learn. So to open an account, this is what you require. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Once it is done, uh, you will have to configure the settings, customize your account settings, such as your profile information, billing preferences, uh, access permissions, etc., etc. Right? So let's have a look at that. So if I go to my organizations, here I've given you the details, how to create and configure the organization settings, that you can go through this once. Still, I'll be showing it to you here once. Okay. So once you have your organization here, by the way, what is an organization? Did we discuss about that? What is an organization? If not, let's discuss that first. In Azure, whenever you whenever you want to create a project, I think we did it, right? I spoke about the hierarchy, that it's a project. Above project, there is an organization, right? And then you have an Azure DevOps account. So whenever you have Azure DevOps account, very first thing you will have to create it. Well, very first thing you'll have to do is create a new organization. And even if you don't do that, the moment you sign up for the first time, you will have your default organization. Like in Azure, we cannot do anything without Azure Resource Group, right? It's not the exact analogy, but just to make you understand, like you cannot do anything in your portal without having a resource group. Similarly, you cannot do here anything without having an organization. So first you'll require an organization. Once you have the organization, then only you can have a project, right? So we'll go to the project later, but let's see the organization. So you can create an organization from here. Let me create one, right? So this could be the organization name or whatever you want to name it. So we can keep it as Azure DevOps, or maybe simple August batch, right? This is useful for us. We'll be able to understand if we do any work, anything, we'll be able to figure it out easily. I selected my location. By the way, the region which I selected there, India, it cannot be changed later. Organization name, it can be changed. It can be deleted, and billing info can also be changed. Right? See, the moment you have your August batch organization, it is asking me to create a project, right? So if I go here, see, can you see my organization, guys? Here it is.
Yes.
Do I have any project? No. Right? So first
No.
thing we have to do, if we want to work further, very first thing we'll have to do, it's create a project, right? So we go here and create a project. Description, whatever you want to give. Private and public. Public has limited numbers we can have a public one. So I think that is the reason I'm not able to do it. It only allows me to use the private one. Right? Public का एक लिमिट होता है और मैंने ऑलरेडी पब्लिक जो है काफी बना ली है. But you have benefit. Public में काफी चीजें फ्री मिलती है. Why? Because it is available on the internet and can be view the project for anyone. जिसके भी पास access होगा कोई भी देख सकता है. This is private, only people you give access to, they will be able to see this. This is public, anyone can see this. Right? Now Git version we have only Git. इसमें कोई और नहीं है, but we can use when we have public. I think we should be able to use others as well. We'll see that when we create a public one. Okay, let's go to organization policy and see if we can enable this. It says that the organization policy has disabled the public project. So let's see. I click there under policy, allow public project. Yes. Okay. So I should be able to create one now. Okay. Here, if I go, look at this public. Now, public, anyone can scan, anyone can see this. Under advanced Git, this is the version control. What is a version control? We are going to do that later. As of now, just understand the project. Okay. Work item process, we have Agile, Basic, CMMI, and Scrum. We are going to do this in detail. And for your understanding, I have given it to you already. I have worked on this very hard just for you guys to have this a clear image. This wasn't available on Google. This I have created basically. So these are the project types, guys. Whenever you're creating a project, work item process or a project type it is called. Whether you want to have Agile, whether you want to have Basic, whether you want to have CMMI or Scrum. Now, what is the difference? When you have with Basic, it is a most lightweighted and it's a selective preview, right? Scrum, it's a next lightweight one. The Agile, it supports Agile methods. What is the Agile method? We are going to see that. CMMI, it provides the most support of formal processes and change management. CMMI, it's a standard like we have ISO. उसी तरह का CMMI का भी एक standards होता है. So if we are going with CMMI project, it gives more features and more facility and more options. Like you can see on the screen, work process item. If I select basic, तो किस तरह के वर्क आइटम मिलेंगे मुझको? बाय द वे, व्हाट इज अ वर्क आइटम? वर्क आइटम इज नथिंग, जो मैं आपको बता रहा था कि टास्क असाइन होते हैं ना आप लोगों को. आई वोंट यूज अ वर्ड टास्क हियर बिकॉज अब टास्क का एक अलग से मतलब हो जाता है. सो जो भी काम आपको असाइन होता है, द पीस ऑफ वर्क व्हिच गेट्स असाइंड टू यू, राइट, उसमें कितने ऑप्शंस होने चाहिए, किस तरह के होने चाहिए, दोज आर कॉल्ड योर, those options will be depending on the nature of the projects which you have selected, right? So if you select basic, guys, you can still see my screen, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, Arbaz is joining. Fine. So if you select basic, under basic, you will have only 3 work items. This is called, by the way, work items. Okay. Now let's start using the terminologies, and you guys also focus whenever you are questioning. Make sure you ask a question in proper jargons. It will help you and me, both of us, right? So this is called your work items. All of these you see, these are work items. And the above one, basic, Scrum, Agile, and CMMI, these are called your processes. So if you select a basic process, where are we? Why did we come to this page, by the way? We came to this page because we were creating one organization And while we creating one organization, post creation of the organization, we were creating a project. While creating a project, we saw under advanced, we have work item process options, right? Hence, we are discussing that. So under work item process, what all do we have? We have this one. We have these processes, basic, Scrum, Agile, and CMMI. And what work items do we get? Guys, please make sure that you remember these terms and use these only while asking question. टास्क इन लेमन टर्म ये सब कुछ टास्क है, ठीक है। अगर मैं आपको एक एपिक भी असाइन कर रहा हूँ ना, ऑन टी ब्रेक इफ आई टॉक टू यू, तो मैं उसको एपिक नहीं बोलने वाला हूँ, वहां पर मैं बोलूंगा यार वो टास्क असाइन किया था कुमेल, व्हाट हैपेंड अबाउट इट, राइट? इफ यू सिटिंग विद योर मैनेजर एंड टॉकिंग कैजुअली, सो दिस इज हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू स्पीक कि यार वो एक टास्क असाइन किया था तो उसको क्या हुआ यार, एक काम असाइन किया था। बट व्हेन इट इज इन अ स्क्रम मीटिंग, व्हेन इट इज इन ईमेल, व्हेन इट इज अबाउट सेंडिंग रिपोर्ट्स एटसेट्रा, यू कैन नॉट यूज दिस जनरल जेनेरिक टर्म। और बग को आप टास्क नहीं बोल सकते, एपिक को आप टास्क नहीं बोल सकते हो, ठीक है। सो प्लीज बी वेरी केयरफुल अबाउट दिस। Just for your understanding, I have created this table. एंड दिस इज नॉट एनी स्टैंडर्ड वगैरह कहीं से ये नहीं किया है, ये मेरा अपना बनाया हुआ है। सो इसको लेकर आप ये नहीं कर सकते हो कि हाँ ठीक है ऐसा ही होगा वैसा ही होगा। आई ट्राइड टू बी वेरी श्योर अबाउट इट, और मैंने कलर कोडिंग भी जो है Azure DevOps के स्टैंडर्ड से ही रखे हैं। यू विल सी दिस व्हेन वी गो टू पोर्टल, यू विल रियलाइज दिस कि मैंने कलर कोडिंग भी वहां से रखी है। बट अगेन आई एम टेलिंग यू दिस इज क्रिएटेड बाय मी, तो इसको अल्टीमेट ये मत समझ लेना, चेंजेस हो सकते हैं। मे बी टुडे फीचर जो है इस तरह का कलर का दिख रहा है, टुमारो यू विल सी सम अदर कलर, सो आई विल चेंज इट, बट एज ऑफ नाउ दिस इज द करेक्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन टिल टुडे। आई जस्ट चेक्ड इट बिफोर कंडक्टिंग द सेशन, आई चेक्ड इट। सो ये कलर कोडिंग हमको Azure DevOps के बोर्ड्स में देखने मिलेगी, ठीक है। सो व्हेन वी सिलेक्ट अ प्रोसेस एज अ बेसिक, what will we have? We will have epic, we will have issue, we will have task. What are these things? These are your work items. Work item के कितने मेथड मिलेंगे मुझको? 3। No one is going to ask you this in your interview, by the way. दिस इज जस्ट टू क्लियर योर बेस, है ना। ये नहीं हो कि कल आप डेवलपमेंट टीम के साथ बैठे हो एंड देन यू आर डिस्कसिंग। इंटरव्यू में कोई ऐसे नहीं पूछने वाला कि बेसिक में कितने मिलता है, स्क्रम में कितने मिलते हैं, बट दे विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट ओके आई हैव वन यूजर स्टोरी एंड इट इज गोइंग टू हैपन लाइक दिस एंड लाइक दैट। तो उसके बाद यू डोंट हैव टू आस्क इट अलग से कि यूजर स्टोरी है तो ठीक है, विच वर्क प्रोसेस आर यू यूजिंग। द मोमेंट पर्सन सेज यूजर स्टोरी, you are it is implied that they are using agile method, right? टास्क सब में कॉमन है, यहाँ you can ask, पर वो लोग भी पूछेंगे इसी तरह से बताएंगे। So you should know this a little bit, right? So when you use a scrum method in your project while creating the project, uh, if you're using a scrum method here, and understand this thing, ये बाद में नहीं होने वाला। This is where your DevOps architecture comes to picture. ये आपके DevOps architecture का काम होगा कि एप्लीकेशन का नीड को अंडरस्टैंड करके उसके बिजनेस एनालिसिस को अच्छे से पढ़कर, ये सब कुछ करके, बिजनेस एनालिस्ट से डिस्कस करके, उस एनालिसिस को पढ़ के, क्लाइंट से मीटिंग करके, अपना स्टडी करके, एंड देन ही डिसाइड्स कि ये कहाँ पर जाना चाहिए, राइट? Later on, renaming the project is easy. Changing the process, it's not possible. Okay, so you don't have to worry about it, by the way, guys. I'm telling you, इसमें से कोई कुछ इंटरव्यू में नहीं पूछ रहा है। We are doing this to clear your base, right? So if you select Scrum, what work items will you have? And you will understand what is the work item. Once we go to portal and once we actually start working on them, you will understand. So you'll have bug, epic, feature, uh, what is it? Impediment, product backlog items, PBI, it is called as, and they ask it very frequently about the PBI. ऐसा नहीं कि PBI कहाँ fall करता है, ऐसा क्वेश्चन मैंने आज तक नहीं सुना DevOps में भी, ठीक है। Task test cases. I have already started aligning people with DevOps interviews, so I have started collecting questions as well. 1-2 questions I have already here. If you check, to give, sorry, if we go to this one, and I had question bank on Azure DevOps. So here it is. We have did the Shri Ganesh with your company, Kumail. So we have got some questions. Okay. Uh, so I have never heard, इसमें भी और पहले वाले में भी, डमी इंटरव्यूज में भी, किसी में भी I have never heard कि कोई ऐसा पूछ रहा है कि स्क्रम में क्या क्या आता है, right? So this is not from the interview perspective. This is to clear your base. If you go with agile, you'll have bug, epic, feature, issue, task, test case, user story. CMMI, it's very good, standard one होता है। कहीं पर बहुत ही अच्छा प्रोजेक्ट होगा ना, बैंकिंग वगैरह का एग्जांपल के लिए, बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका, कोई यूके का बड़ा बैंक, IMF, इंटरनेशनल मॉनेटरी फंड्स, या कोई गवर्नमेंट प्रोजेक्ट, दे विल मेक श्योर टू यूज दिस वन। ये यूज होता है, अजाइल यूज होता है, स्क्रम यूज होता है, बेसिक बहुत ही कम यूज होता है, जहां पर बहुत छोटा सा प्रोजेक्ट है, कम बजट है, विल यूज बेसिक, ठीक है। This one I will be explaining it to you later in detail. जब हम इसको start करेंगे ना board पे काम तब. But look at this, just for your example. Epic के अंदर issue होता है, issue के अंदर task होता है. ठीक है? This is the hierarchy. When you go to Scrum में Epic में एक और दे दिया feature. ठीक है? Then backlog etc. Don't worry about it now. We are going to cover that. So is this clear, guys? Organization तक clear है, Kumail?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so let's create a project. At least ये हमारा task आज का हो जाएगा. That we created the project and we spoke about or we discussed work items. Though I wanted to cover few more things here under the project settings, but only 1 minute is left, and so we'll start this in next session. Right? What I wanted to discuss here, maybe you can also check. You guys can go ahead and check. It's on the page number 7. I'll be sharing this file with you. All these details I wanted to show it to you. But this is very basic. Don't worry. ठीक है, this is very basic. Till here अभी तक हम काफी basic में चल रहे हैं. But still fine. Only 1 minute is left, guys. So I'll be stopping the session, right? And next session we'll pick it up from here. We have created the project. What to do next? What all things we have to check. We are going to do that. See you guys in next session then.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay, well, bye.
Thank you.